Okay, we were discussing in the last class equivalent circuit and frequency limitations, and we gave an importance of equivalent circuits. Why we need equivalent circuit? Why can't we use the actual device itself? Because for from developers point of view, we need to have an equivalent circuit, because straight away involving into the physics of this device is very difficult. So that's why the researchers, those who have understood this device very well, they have come out with an equivalent circuit, and we call that equivalent circuit as a mathematical model. And every device will have its own model, and there are variety of models exist, but the popular one we are going to explain in this class. Okay, so one useful model is a small signal equivalent circuit model that we have discussed in the last class. Mainly this model is used for analyzing amplifier circuits. Even any analog circuits can be analyzed with the help of this small signal equivalent circuit model. The actual benefit of this model you will see in the next semester. You have a subject called analog electronics. There you will get the benefit of this, the small signal equivalent model. Though you are studying here details of this model and how we arrive at this small signal equivalent model, but the real the benefit you are going to get it in analog electronics. Any circuits based which are based on JFET can be easily understood with the help of this small signal equivalent circuit model. And we told about frequency effects. The frequency is one of the important parameter of any device. What frequencies it passes and what frequency it blocks. So that's very important to understand about the device. Every device we expect to pass all frequencies, but it doesn't happen like that. Reason is there are its the effects within that. You can see there are parasitic elements like capacitances, resistances within that that will limit the passing frequency from input side to the output side. Okay, you will see what all the various elements blocking the frequencies. So that's called the frequency effects. We need to understand which element, what till what frequency it allows, what frequency it blocks. So those effects we need to understand from the transistor. Okay, that's what even the industry people also do. They try to identify the elements that affects frequency and try to minimize that effects by using variety of the new methods or techniques, and they try to improve the performance of the device itself. Especially device modeling engineers, they do that kind of job. There are various physical factors which affect the frequency limitations, as I was telling to you. The cutoff frequency, which matters a lot for us, because that is called as a figure of merit. If you know the cutoff frequency, you can operate in the safe range. It is like what I should say, uh, it's a range. If you understand this range, cutoff frequency range, till what frequency it device operates very well. So beyond that, you will stop operating, and within that range itself you will operate the device, and you can gain maximum the advantage by operating within the cutoff frequency. Okay, the small signal equivalent circuit we have seen here. This is the cross sectional view of n channel JFET. You are seeing here the n channel. This is an active n channel, and there is a substrate which we have introduced in the last class. Substrate will act like a foundation material. So over this and above this, we are going to build different sort of devices. And one thing you must notice here, what should be the type of substrate? This is also a semiconductor. It is not at all a different substance or impurity element here. But in our case, for n channel, we have chosen the P plus substrate, and vice versa also it is true. For a P channel JFET, you need to choose n plus substrate here. The substrate will be opposite to that of the channel what you see here. So this is going to be an n channel JFET. As you are seeing here, there is a source, gate and drain. The channel is of n type and the gate is of the P type. The substrate is also going to be the P type. And you observe here there are several PN junctions within this also. As between P substrate to n channel, there is a PN junction, and between the gate P plus region to the n channel, there is again there is a PN junction. So that means understanding PN junction, it helps us very much when in analyzing these kind of devices. Okay, so everywhere you see the PN junctions. Uh, if you understood very well the PN junction, then that concepts or theory can be applied here to understand even the JFETs also. JFET or the BJT doesn't matter, but there everywhere we use PN junction theory. So that's what I want to mention here. The substrate you understood now should be the opposite to that of the channel. In our case, this is an N channel type of a channel is going to be the N type. So this is what here, this is an N type channel. So therefore the substrate chosen is P plus substrate. Okay, for P channel you are supposed to choose N plus type of substrate. Substrate is the background material. On top of that you diffuse with many layers so that it forms a transistor. Now we have seen equivalent small signal equivalent circuit of this, the cross sectional view of this JFET. We have told significance of each and everything. Outer side you can see there is a gate terminal, drain here, and there is a source here, and the substrate is not shown here. So this is a substrate. Usually we will ground it substrate. Okay, so that's why you see here this is a substrate here which is grounded here. And other elements, this is V, G dash, S dash is nothing but it is an internal voltage source. This is going to be an AC voltage source. Usually when we apply AC voltage here, reason why we choose an AC voltage is because we need to analyze from frequency point of view. That's why we apply AC signal here. Okay, so this is an AC signal. Okay, let me write here, this is going to be an AC signal. So our aim is to understand what frequency of this AC signal, this complete now for us this cross section is now equivalent to this, the JFET equivalent is this. So therefore we apply AC signal between the gate and source, and now we will analyze, we will vary the frequency. This is just like an amplifier. When we have an AC signal of small amplitude, we keep varying the frequency here, and we will see that what frequencies we get at the output. I mean, for what signal, for what frequency signals here, the circuit, the device can pass efficiently those signals at the output side. So drain and source are going to be the output in our case. Okay, so that kind of things we are going to analyze here. But when the AC signal is fed in, and we will see the various elements within that. So now these elements are identified based on the different structure what we see in the device. Every element here has significance. For instance, you can see there is an R, small r, it is shown, it is an internal resistance. RGS, it is the resistance between the gate and source. This is internal resistance between the gate and source. Now question is why we have used here RGS. Reason is there is a resistance between the gate and the source. Even in actual device also there is a diffusion resistance between the gate and source, that is modeled through this resistance RGS. Now the actual device, the amount of resistance it exhibits between the gate and source, the same value is also used here. Now what should be the value of this RGS? Okay, so ideally speaking this value must be very large. Reason is that is explained here, you can just look at here. So the resistance, this is this device is operated mainly in the depletion mode. Okay, so you can see the gate to source junction is always reverse biased for the depletion mode. Okay, so due to the reverse bias depletion mode, I will just take another pen here. So due to the reverse biased depletion mode, we know what is depletion mode. Okay, so depletion mode means for gate voltage negative. Okay, if you are operating JFET with a gate source voltage negative, not positive, negative. Okay, so that is called as a depletion mode. Enhancement mode means we are applying gate to source voltage with positive values. Okay, so when we apply positive values, the within the channel there is an enhancement. The word depletion and enhancement are used with reference to the charges which are induced in the channel. Okay, suppose if you apply positive voltage here, what is going to happen here? So all negative charges it is going to induce, right? This is a capacitance effect, right? So therefore the negative charges, and the channel is also an N type. Okay, and charges that induced within this channel region is also a negative. So that means the channel is enhancing more. So for a positive voltage the channel will get enhanced in the sense it becomes it allows more number of charge carriers from the source to drain. That's why the name is called enhancement mode. So, for positive gate voltage, gate source voltage, even though I say here gate voltage, we can't apply voltage to only gate, we have to apply with reference to source. So, this VGS, if it is VGS, this is the voltage I am talking here, this is the voltage here. For VGS positive, the mode is called enhancement mode. And for VGS value negative, the mode is called as it is a depletion mode. I hope you understood now the difference between enhancement mode and the depletion mode. Okay, so here in this particular case, the gate to source junction for depletion mode device is always reverse biased. Reverse bias means you can see a negative voltage is applied between the gate and source. Okay, so negative comes to a gate and positive goes to the source. Therefore, the junction PN junction what you see between the P plus region and the N channel is reverse biased, or PN junction that we see here between the P plus gate region and the N channel is reverse biased here. So, that is what we are conveying here. The gate to source junction is reverse biased for depletion mode devices and as only a small forward bias voltage for enhancement mode devices. So that normally RGS value is going to be very large. I hope you understood the value of RGS. This value was supposed to be very large, because for the depletion mode this is going to be reverse bias. Okay, so this value should be large. We know that from gate to source we are maintaining reverse bias for the depletion mode operation, and this resistance RGS represents a resistance between the gate and source. We know that in reverse bias, okay, so resistance offered by the device is very high, right. So, it is going to be in mega ohms. So, therefore, this RGS value is going to be large, it is in terms of mega ohms. Okay, so, this is in terms of mega ohms. Okay. Okay, with that let us move to the other element like CGS. CGS is nothing but it is a capacitance connected, it is a junction capacitance. So, you can see here we know that PN junction exhibits capacitance, right. This you might have studied in basic electronics. Every PN junction has got the two types of capacitance. What are those two types of capacitance? Anybody can remember? A capacitance within the PN junction. You might have come across in basic electronics. Any idea?
Could you please repeat the questions?
Capacitance that is exhibited by PN junction. Any diode within that there will be a capacitance. What are those capacitances I am asking?
Actually, they are equivalent to capacitance, sir.
Correct. There is a specific naming to that capacitance. That unique words I am asking, expecting from your side. Have you come across a transition capacitance or diffusion capacitance? If not, go through basic electronics of PN junction theory, you will understand those two capacitances. Okay. So, let me write it here, because now I can't go to the explanation of the PN junction capacitance, but just to as a information sake I am giving here, there are two types of capacitance that you come across in the PN junction. What are those capacitances? Let me write here PN junction. Every PN junction is a capacitance, of course. Okay, so now it depends on whether forward bias what kind of capacitance, in reverse bias what kind of capacitance it exhibits. So, there are two capacitance, you can see this is a transition capacitance. Just go through the basic electronics, you will understand these capacitances, because in the PN junction these two semiconductors will act like a parallel plates, and now this capacitance it exhibits these capacitances, transition capacitance and diffusion capacitance. Now, I expect from your side go through the little theory about this transition and diffusion capacitance, that those are the capacitance that PN junction exhibits. Okay. So, now this that is why here we use capacitance. See, now that theory PN junction capacitance theory we are applying to the equivalent circuit here, and because obviously a question rises here, how we got this CGS. CGS is because, as I told you, there is a diode here between the P plus region and this N channel, and this junction between the P plus and N, it exhibits a capacitance just like this PN junction theory. So, the same PN junction theory we are applying even for the this JFET here. So, since there is a PN junction between P plus and N region, in depletion mode that is going to be reverse biased, therefore, this capacitance CGS comes into play. Now, CGS is nothing but it is a capacitance or junction capacitance what we call. Look at this, okay, where is it labeled? You can see it's RGS is the resistance and CGS what you are seeing here. CGS is nothing but it is a it's a gate to source, it is diffusion gate to source resistance, that is RGS, and the CGS is nothing but it is junction capacitance. I hope you got this point here. And every PN junction will have its own capacitance. Okay. All right, let us see next. Now, so far we have seen two parameters, RGS its value should be very large, and CGS its again capacitance within the PN junction, this is called junction capacitance, and because of reverse bias this value will be again very large. Okay. So, now let us see other capacitances, resistance and capacitance. RGD and CGD you can look at here. The subscript will tell you where that resistance is exhibited by the actual device, and that is shown here. Now, you can see the word itself RGD, it is the resistance between gate and drain. You can see there is a resistance here between the gate and drain, this is a resistance here between gate and drain, and there is a capacitance again junction capacitance between the gate and drain. So, that is the same thing is labeled here, gate to drain resistance and capacitance. Okay. Next is going to be the RDS. So, between the drain and source there is again the finite drain resistance, you can see here this is the RDS, there is a finite drain resistance here, and there is a capacitance here CDS which you can see here. Okay, between the drain and source, so this all this line here whatever you are seeing here, this is a drain point here. Okay, so though here there is a RD here, for the time being you can imagine that this line is going to be the drain point here. So, there is a resistance here RDS, there is a capacitance here CDS. Okay. So, those are the two elements between drain and source, one is resistance, other one is capacitance. Okay. Next is we have one more capacitance comes into play. We hope I hope you understood this with the importance of this RGD and CGD, and so they are the resistance between gate and drain. RDS is the finite drain resistance. Okay, finite means its value is going to be very small. Okay, it's not like RGS. RGS value was supposed to be very large. Okay, RGS actually RDS values was it's a finite resistance, and it depends on the channel length modulation effect. Anybody aware of what do we mean by channel length modulation? We, even though we have discussed this in PN JFET operation. Okay, just think about that. What do we mean by channel length modulation? Okay. Now, what I am saying, trying to say here is the channel length. You know what is channel length? Channel length means this distance. Okay, so distance from RS, this line here, there is a line drawn here. You can see here. Okay, you can see this is a dotted line shown here. This here till this line here is nothing but length. Okay, we'll just remove this so that it will be easy for you to understand where I am showing. Okay, now I can show here where is the channel length here. You can see. Okay, so this is channel length. Let me write it here. This from here, I will put an arrow mark here till here. So this is channel length, capital L. Okay, so this is channel length, and look at now this effect here, channel length modulation effect. What do we mean by that? What is modulation? Modulation means variation of one parameter with reference to other parameter. In this case, we are going to vary this channel length. See, channel length is internal, and we are going to vary this with reference to the voltage applied between the drain and source. That is what it is told here. The RDS resistance, what you are seeing here, this is an RDS resistance, okay, which is a function of channel length modulation effect. This is a channel length here. So, this length will be varied depending on this voltage what we apply between drain and source. Okay. So what I am trying to say is this RDS resistance is proportional to, this RDS resistance is proportional to, or let me say, instead of saying proportional, let me say it is a function of, it is a function of, okay, just removing on this. Okay, all right. So RDS is a function of, let me say, which is equivalent to, okay, equivalent to, it is a function of channel length modulation. Okay, so at the time being, don't worry about this what is channel length modulation. You will study that in higher semester. That is again one of the important phenomenon in within the JFET. The channel length, we need to study this with reference to the characteristics of this device. So right now, since it takes a lot of time to make you to understand what do we mean by channel length modulation effect. In a nutshell, what I would like to say is the channel length here. This length varies, depending on the voltage what we apply between drain and source. Okay, so that is called as the channel length modulation. So channel length is varied in accordance with the drain source voltage. So therefore, this resistance RDS will also become a function of this channel length modulation effect. That is what it is told here. Okay, as RDS keeps varying, okay, so then definitely this channel length also keeps varying here. Okay, I am not telling this actual channel length, because you know that in saturation region there is a pinch off effects will happen here. The pinch off will be moving deeper into this, the from the drain side to the source side. You might have seen pinch off effects. Pinch off means the depletion region here will try to occupy the channel region here. Okay, so that pinch off will be increases, it keeps increases as you keep increasing this the drain source voltage. But in fact, as drain source voltage increases, the current will become almost a constant, but in the channel length modulation effect it does not happen like that. Okay, as drain source voltage increases, the channel length keeps pinch off region keeps moving towards the source side here. Okay, so I don't want to go more depth with reference to channel length modulation, because whenever you study the JFET, you will get an opportunity to understand this channel length modulation effect. But right now what I would like to say is this resistance RDS what you are seeing here, now it is a function of channel length modulation here. Okay, so this as that is why this RDS has been introduced here. Next, there is another capacitance called as the CDS between the drain and source. You can see between drain and substrate. Okay, so that is called the CDS is between drain and source, drain to source, it is a parasitic capacitance, and even CS, which is also a capacitance between the drain to substrate. So there are two CDS and CS. So these are the two capacitance that exhibits again as we come across a PN junction between the drain and substrate and drain and source, that is shown as a junction capacitance here, CDS and CS value. Though we have shown many capacitances and many resistance, you can have a count here, number of resistances that we have identified within this JFET actual device, and number of resistance you can just cross check here. All these resistances and capacitance are going to be most of them they are negligible, because their values are going to be very, very small. This is an actual equivalent circuit, small signal equivalent circuit. We can approximate this small signal equivalent circuit by eliminating few redundant resistances and capacitances. Then this model becomes very simple. Otherwise, this model is going to be very complex. Okay, so but for the information sake, this we have shown actual model here. So now this model represents this JFET. Now in place of JFET, one can replace with this model. Okay, now this is an actual model here. As I told you, this model straight away plugging into the circuits which are based on JFET, and understanding JFET circuit is very difficult. So therefore, we have to develop model as simple as possible, so that we understand the circuit circuits very easily. Any JFET circuit, you can plug in this model to understand to analyze the details of the circuit. Okay, especially when you come across amplifier circuit, JFET based amplifier circuit. Okay, So, you will feel difficulty in understanding the amplifiers without understanding how exactly JFET functions. So, therefore, in the place of JFET, you can replace it with this model, and you will get an idea how circuit works. So, to understand the working principle of the circuit, these equivalent circuits are very much essential. Okay. Now, let us check the number of capacitance and number of resistance used here. Okay, there are totally four capacitances you can see here. One is here, other one is here, two CGD, and third one is CDS, and fourth one is CS. So, totally four capacitances are there. Anybody can think of and tell me which capacitance is going to be dominant here? How do we say dominant? You look at our topic,
Which
what
has a more effect?
which has come again?
More which has a more effect or impact?
Let me put it like this: the capacitance whose value is going to be very high, and that limits the frequency, right? We are interested in frequency limitations, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the frequency, the capacitance which affects the frequency, that is most important for us. Among these 4 to 5 capacitance what we have seen here, which capacitance is affecting the frequency, that we need to identify. There are many unnecessary unwanted capacitances here. Example, let me say here this CS. Though there is a capacitance between the drain and substrate, this capacitance does not affect the cutoff frequency very much. So, this capacitance can be removed in our approximated circuit. Likewise, there are many capacitance. In my opinion, I can say that CGD, let me highlight that, CGD and CGS, these are the dominant capacitances. Just find out reason for that, why this capacitance I have told as a dominant capacitances. How this capacitance will affect the frequency, that we will see in a couple of minutes. You understood now why we treat these two capacitances as dominant capacitances? Because the entire frequency, cutoff frequency now depends on these two capacitances only. We will explain that with mathematical explanation for that. Other capacitances and resistances becomes redundant, unnecessary. I mean, their values are very small. You can neglect it in approximate equivalent circuit. Okay. And anybody you have identified, asked me a question, why is current source? Okay, I am showing here current source, right, which is shown in rhombus kind of symbol, and this is a dependent current source. You have studied in importance of dependent current source in network theory. Okay, and we have seen even in coupled diode model also this kind of current source, right. Even in BJT also we have this current source, and here also for this JFET equivalent circuit we have shown here current source. What is the necessity of control source, using control source here?
Then we can vary frequency also by using.
Exactly, exactly. See, this dependent current source, now the current that is flowing, look at this current where it is flowing. It is from drain, this point is drain point. Let me say this is going to be a drain point, and it is flowing from drain to source, right. For the time being, you can ignore this resistance, do not treat this. This is an optional kind of resistance, RS. That is why I have written here the terminal here itself as a source. Okay, so therefore, this current is flowing from where to where? Drain to source. Can I call this current as IDS? This current as IDS, because it is flowing from drain to source, right. Okay, and look at this IDS. IDS is equivalent to what? According to this equivalent circuit, which is equal to GM times Vg dash S dash. This is a dependent current source. The current that is flowing here depends on voltage what we apply here. It is an AC voltage. Okay. If you apply larger current here, definitely you will get larger voltage here, you get larger current here. It all depends on again transconductance of a device also. Don't only look at voltage point of view. What is transconductance? Anybody has definition for that? What do we mean by transconductance? GM is called as transconductance. In a JFET, transconductance is most important. whereas in BJT this is more important. What is that? Beta. Okay, the transistor gain is what? It is represented by beta, right? Typically transistor
Yes, sir.
comes with the beta as 100, 200, 300, something like this. That is the gain of a transistor. And GM is nothing but it is a transconductance. Whenever you see any JFET, always look at, when you want to prefer JFET for your projects or some applications, okay, always see JFET, just GM. C means this, you have to prefer JFET with large value of GM. In case if you are preferring for your project, say BJT, always look at beta. Okay, while preferring transistors also, these things has to be seen before you use them in your circuits. Having GM larger value is always better. What is GM? What is GM? Formula I am asking you. Anybody can remember formula for GM? Now let me tell like this. What is GM? I told you how to, it is nothing but conductance, right? Transconductance. What is the conductance formula? Simple thing, no? Conductance formula. I am asking you what is resistance, right? As simple as that. What is resistance? It is nothing but voltage by current. Then what about conductance? It's a reciprocal of that, right? It's nothing but
Yes, sir.
uh,
R is equal to resistance R L by A. Then
shall we write this as
1 by R.
shall we write this as this IDS by VGS?
Yes, sir.
Okay. IDS, look at the circuit, it is an output current. What is VGS? It's input voltage. Or here let us write it this in terms of this V, there is a V G dash S dash. Let us not confuse this. Let us write, use the same notations here also. V G dash S dash. Now look at here now. I told you GM larger is better, right? Larger the GM is always good. How do you make this GM larger? What is the advantage you are going to get by larger GM?
Conductivity will increase, sir. Number of conductor will more involved.
Conductivity will increase. Okay. Any
The
other?
output current will also increase, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. The output current keeps increasing, right? Because look at this GM, larger the GM, that gets multiplied with input voltage, and what will happen to your drain to source current? That becomes very large, right? Having higher transconductance always will have larger output current. Okay. Now, can you tell me the unit of this transconductance by looking at this formula?
Ampere per voltage.
Ampere by volts, right? Let's say that's the
Yes,
unit
sir.
for transconductance now. Now, let us put it like this. In my opinion, GM is like, the mileage in your two-wheeler. Okay, it's very easy to understand when we say mileage, What we expect for a two-wheeler? More mileage, right? For a given liter of petrol, for, every drop of petrol, we expect more mileage. That's like, in JFET, GM is like, gives me the mileage. Always larger mileage is always better. Okay. But that can be achieved through this, if you prefer transistors JFET with larger GM, with small voltage, you get large current. Having higher GM, let me repeat that sentence, having higher GM for a JFET, any JFET with which comes with the higher GM, okay, that means with small gate to source voltage, I can have large drain to source current. You are going to get a lot of benefit from this, right? Okay. So that's about GM. GM is very important parameter. One need to understand, when we are discussing FET, you need to pay attention for GM. Okay, when we are discussing BJT, you need to pay attention for beta. Beta is the transistor gain. Okay, now we have studied various things. Now let us now go for ideal small signal equivalent circuit now. As I told you, ideal small signal equivalent circuit can be constructed by ignoring many capacitances and resistance from this. Look at here, all diffusion resistances are infinite. Now identify all diffusion resistances in this actual equivalent circuit, and that can be that they are infinite, that can be made as open circuit. Okay, so that means this will become open circuit, all resistances you can see that becomes an open circuit. And also look at low frequencies, what will happen to the capacitances. To draw the ideal small signal equivalent circuit, what is the first step is ideal small signal equivalent circuit. First step is all diffusion capacitance are infinite and the series resistances are 0. And what will happen to the capacitance reactance at low frequency, XC? If I call this XC as capacitive reactance, what will happen to the value at low frequency? XC is equal to 1 by 2 pi Fc. When frequency is low, what will happen to Xc? Xc is capacitive reactance, Xc becomes large. Okay, at low frequency the capacitive reactance becomes large. Look at now, okay, capacitance becomes open circuit, right, at low frequency. When the reactance becomes large, definitely at low frequency we are analyzing because it's small signal equivalent model. So that means since capacitive reactance becomes very large, so the capacitance also becomes open circuit. So capacitance becomes open circuit. Look at this. If you apply all that assumptions to this actual small signal equivalent circuit model, most of the capacitance and resistance will get eliminated. That's what you are seeing here. See how simple the model has become now. Okay, so this is the simplified model, small signal equivalent model. Okay, now this represents our JFET. So this is our JFET. We have a gate, drain, source. So between the gate and source there is an open circuit, right? Look at this distance, there is an open circuit between the gate and source. And between the drain and source there is a current source. Between the drain and source here we replace with a current source. The current source value is now Gm times Vgs. Okay. Gm is a transconductance and Vgs is voltage applied here between these two terminals here. So this IDS will be equal to Gm times Vgs. This IDS will be equal to Gm times Vgs. Okay, that's what it is shown here. IDS is equal to Gm times Vgs. The small signal drain current is now given by this. From this model, okay, the current flowing between the drain and source is nothing but this Gm times Vgs. Okay, so if you vary the voltage here, so then definitely current also will vary here. Even actual device also you will feel same thing. Try to vary the gate source voltage, the drain to source current varies. Even if you alter the frequency here, the same thing will also get altered here. And between the gate and source there is an open circuit. That means the device is exhibiting very high resistance between the gate and source. So there is a, if you look at from this side, the resistance Ri is going to be infinity. That means JFET at input side it exhibits infinite. Ideally I am saying. So this is an ideal okay, low frequency small signal equivalent circuit. So it is applicable only for okay, a low frequency, that is assumption. Okay, this is an ideal. Reason why we call ideal is because we have eliminated most of the elements that we have seen in the actual model. Ideal low frequency small signal equivalent circuit model. Small signal equivalent circuit model. Okay, this is model is applicable for low frequency and for small signals. You can replace JFET with this model. Okay, so that becomes easy for us to understand circuits that are based on JFET. And now here you can see one thing we have, as I told you, we used as an optional is RS. Now let us see that inclusion of RS here at this place between the source and the ground. RS is nothing but a resistance, okay, a series resistance between the source and ground. Let us see the effect of that on the model. Okay, this RS is optional, but here let us see what will happen to the output current here when the RS is introduced. So here you are seeing such a model, ideal equivalent, same model once again, but only thing is we have added here a resistance here. This is additional thing here. Okay, in series with dependent current source. Okay, so let us see now everything remains same. Okay, but only thing is we have RS. Now you see there is a VG dash S dash. We have seen this in actual model, and there is a external voltage, gate to source voltage is VGS. Okay, let us find out expression relating these two things, VG G dash S dash and what is VGS. Okay, now here this is a dependent current source. So this current source, current flowing through this, which is IDS, is now equivalent to GM times the voltage applied here between these two terminals here. It's S here, S dash here, sorry, this is S dash. Okay, so this is actual source. So voltage between these two, okay, multiplied with GM, transconductance of the JFET, that gives you drain source current. Okay. Let's now look at a small derivation is there, which is very simple, of course, not so difficult here. Now from the small signal, ideal small signal low frequency model, we can write this equation, IDS is equal to GM times VGS. And let us see the effect of source resistance. The moment you introduce source resistance, then IDS becomes equal to this GM times V G dash and S dash as per this. Here for this model, it is this expression is valid, okay, for the ideal small signal low frequency small signal model, whereas here this IDS for this, it is GM times V G dash S dash. The same equation is written here, you can see this. Now let us try to obtain the relationship between this V G dash S dash and VGS. Okay, now look at this is the this is what you are able to do this derivation. Now we can apply KVL to this and find out the Kirchhoff voltage law. You can apply here and see that what you get it here. Okay, let us write it adjacent to this. So let us say this is minus VGS. I am applying KVL like this, plus V G dash S dash here. I am coming all the way from here to this, plus what is the drop across RS? RS drop is GM times V G dash S dash. This is the current, this is IDS, times there is a resistance here, right, RS. Okay, so there is a resistance here which is RS. Okay, now we can simplify this. You can transfer VGS to other side. VGS, which is equal to, I can take out this VG dash S dash as a common factor. S dash as a common factor. What do you get it now? 1 plus GM times RS. Look at this is what the equation we get here. Look at same thing is done here also, right? 1 plus GM times RS times V G dash S dash, and this is what gate to source voltage. Now IDS can be written as, IDS is nothing but now GM times, you can substitute here for VGS, okay, and you will get an equation for IDS here. So we know that what we know, IDS, which is equal to, okay, so GM times VGS and from this you can substitute for or from this 13.58 this equation you can uh, this equation can be written as this equation 13.58 equation. This can be written as IDS, which is equal to GM times. From this you can find out what is VG dash S dash. You can just do transfer this to other side. Let me manipulate here. VG dash S dash is this, and so therefore you can substitute IDS for G dash V. So let us keep it this GM as it is into Vg dash S dash. From this equation is VGS divided by 1 plus GM times RS. Okay, look at this now, this drain source current. What happened to the drain source current the moment this RS is introduced? It has decreased, right, by this much factor. You can see that here. Okay, you compare this with this equation. So let us rewrite here this IDS is equal to, so let us write here this equation 13.57 IDS, which is equal to GM times VGS. Now compare these two equations. So this is without RS. So this is without RS. So this is with RS. Without RS and with RS you can compare here. So with RS the current has been decreased. Without RS its value is drain to source current is large. Because of this factor here what you see in denominator, so that much amount the drain to source current has been reduced with RS. Okay. So we will continue remaining things in the next class. I hope you understood the importance of ideal low frequency small signal circuit and the derivation for with and without RS, drain to source current with and without RS. I'll stop at this point.